Hello, everyone, and welcome to Worldbreak. This session is being recorded along with hopefully all of our audio. So, if you're watching, thank you so much for giving our story a look-see. And if you're playing, please mind your P's and Q's and don't say anything that you don't wish the whole world to possibly know or watch on repeat over and over again. This first session of Worldbreak will cover basic world lore and hopefully the formation of a party. Worldbreak is a homebrew world that I have created using a variety of influences, the greatest of which is Japanese culture. The names and places and many other things in this game are derived from the Japanese language, and I'm certain I will screw some of them up, so please be patient with me and don't make fun of me too much when that happens. The logo for this game was created by a good friend of mine, Annie Fitzgerald. If you like her work, you can find her on Instagram at Avid Struggler, no spaces. She will be doing more artwork for our sessions, so please continue to look out for it and support her. She is a growing and awesome artist, and we will continue to support her and other small artists when we can. Before we begin, I would love for each player tonight to introduce themselves. Please start by telling us your name, the name and class of the character you will be playing, and your favorite food. I will go ahead and get us started. My name is Reed. I am the DM. I'll be playing many characters, some of them well and some of them poorly. My favorite food is ramen, and that's all I have for you guys. Brian, you're up next.
I am Brian Shaver. I will be playing Cyrus Talon, who is an artificer, and my favorite food is sushi.
Keisha?
Hello, my name is Keisha, and I'm going to be playing Nama, and I am a druid, and my favorite food is, I'm going to go with something different. I'm going to go with Mexican.
Nicolette, how about you?
So my name is Nicolette. I will be playing Umiko Sugawara, who is a cleric. And my favorite food, I'd have to go with tacos.
Nice. Richard, finish us off.
All right, my name is Richard. I will be playing Flood the Chaste, a monk. My favorite food are ribs and Chinese food. Couldn't pick one. Sorry.
Is there such a thing as Chinese ribs? Is that a thing?
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Is that like your favorite food?
Yeah, it's pretty high up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Brian will be alternating DMing with me every other Sunday night with a totally separate game called Built from Ash. Please continue to check out our two games and follow both of our stories as they continue to unfold. With that being said, I'm gonna throw up our world map here real quick. I would love to start by talking about the world of Astaire, which is the land and the world that Worldbreak is set on. For starters, I'll be describing the world's creation myth and the pantheon of gods, followed by a brief and short history of the three historical eras that have led to what we might call modern-day Astaire. Everything I'm going to describe here would be common knowledge to almost everyone in Astaire, so players, please feel free to take notes or ask questions. I may not answer all of them, but I might answer some. And everyone watching, I guess just enjoy the deep and intriguing historical story. In the beginning of everything, Isho was all things together, unity. Over time, like things began to bond and fuse together within Isho, who was torn apart into 8 pieces, creating the Kampeki, comprised of the 8 basic elements. They consisted of 8 gods: Hikari, light; Yami, darkness; Tsuchi, earth; Mizu, water; Hai, fire; Kaze, air; Sora, void or magic; and Kengeru, thought. The Kampeki felt the desire to create, and after a time worked together to build Astaire, using parts of themselves to bring life and existence to the physical world. Upon death or destruction, all things that were created by the Campeki separate back into their original components and elements and return to the gods from whence they came. And for a time, there was peace and prosperity. Any questions so far?
No.
Sweet! The Age of Elves. When the world was created, there were no different races. Every being was a single magical and immortal race known as elves. While they could die from disease, wounds, and combat, they would live forever when unaffected by outside influences. This gift was given to the elves by the Campeki to help them learn, grow, and live in peace. It, however, had the opposite effect, and thousands of years into their reign, a mighty war erupted known as the All-Elves War. There were no victors in this war, but it angered the Campeki greatly. They stripped the magic from the elves, leaving the few that remained alive magically crippled. The Campeki then created the race of humans, blessing them with the gift of possibility and choice. This age ended at the end of the All-Elves War, and lasted from the year 1 to the year 3623 AOE, which stands for the Age of Elves. Surprise. Anybody have any questions before I proceed?
No.
You
Nope.
guys are such great
Makes sense.
listeners. I love it. Also, all of you who can't answer questions and are listening to this recording, I love that I don't have to answer your questions right now. Age of Man was next. After the creation of the humans, a new age dawned. Some used this gift to move into the water, turning into the Aquarian races that live and thrive today in Astaire's oceans. Others took to the sky, creating a single floating city to call their home, and evolved into aerial races. Still others took to the mountains, digging deep underground and becoming the dwarves, gnomes, and other Terrian races that exist today. It is said that all races existing in Astaire currently developed from this ancient human line and their choices to evolve. Humans were viewed as being full of hope and possibility, and each race was celebrated, each race except for, that is, the elves. The elves that remained in the world were often shunned, scorned, and viewed as descendants of the All-Elves War. The common belief was that they had had their chance at peace and squandered it. Over the thousands of years that passed after the fall of the Age of Elves, generation after generation was in relative peace, and each race began to establish itself in the world of Astaire. Magic and technology flourished, and that technology was known as metal tech. The races began to do great things with their metal tech, and even those without magical abilities with enough coin could soar through the skies, delve deep into the deepest oceans, or slay the mightiest of demons with its help. Over time, however, a tiny amount of each Campeki happened to gather in the center of Astaire. A little bit of Isho slowly came back into being and began to grow. It built itself up over the years and eventually began trying to pull everything in existence back into itself. By the time anyone noticed what was happening, Isho was already a mighty foe for Astaire and the gods. The Campeki fought back with all their might, but were not strong enough due to how much of themselves they had given to Astaire. This war became known as the Last War, and when all seemed lost, Astaire united and joined the Campeki in an epic battle and defeated Isho. This age ended with the destruction of Isho and the conclusion of the Last War. The destruction of Isho was a cataclysmic event which tore the singular great continent of Astaire apart, leaving it the way it is today. Huge swaths of the world were forever changed and tainted by the magic of Isho's destruction and the power it took to defeat it. This magical blast destroyed most of the natural cycles of the seasons, instead leaving lands permanently locked in different seasonal states. Very few warriors survived the fight, and many of the people of Astaire were also killed in the magical explosion from Isho, or died shortly after of complications. The knowledge of those who lived before the last war was all but lost, although life did begin anew, and the world and its people slowly built themselves back up upon the sacrifices and lessons of those who came before. This age, the age of man, lasted from the year 1 to the year 4234 AOM, which stands for, anyone want to guess?
Age of
Age
Men.
of Man.
Oh, you guys got it. Perfect. Any
see a
questions
trend.
before we tackle the last age and jump into story?
Thus
Is that
far
a
now?
city under ice?
Say that again?
I said, is that a city under ice?
Yeah, there are indeed cities underwater, and the water on the northern half of the map is essentially frozen solid. So there is allegedly an ancient Aquarian city. No one has visited it in a long time, so its existence and survival at this point is myth.
Mm. Awesome.
Could be a cool ruin to explore.
Yeah.
Could be a thriving city of ice dudes.
Who knows?
Nobody knows. Could be something else entirely.
Death.
Last up is the Age of Peace, which lasted, I'll do this first this time, from the year 1 to the year 1270 AOP. I think we all know what that means. Since the end of the Age of Man and the Last War, the northern half of the world has become a frozen tundra, stuck in an eternal winter. Most of the lands are covered in snow, which falls most of the year. The waters that used to surround the two continents in the north, the Gyapu, are permanently frozen solid for at least the first few feet. It is unknown how deep the ice goes into the sea. Tochi and Shima still manage to prosper off of the thick and hardy winter plants and beasts that have begun to flourish in those areas, and both continents are lucky enough to have small areas connected to unfrozen waters to their southern borders that they use for trade, sustaining themselves with the bountiful crops of other regions. The south has been steeped in the warm and humid weather of summer since the end of the last war. Thick jungles cover most of its unchanged landscape, but great chunks of it have been cut down to create some of the most fertile farmland in existence. Heavy and warm rains frequent the area, but are often followed by an intense summer heat, and even at night the air remains pleasant to the skin. Certainly some animals have flourished on Hajimari, the southernmost continent, but most profit and trade is either in fish, which is desired heavily in the north due to their frozen nature and waters, or in its rich and varied crops. The waters in the south are part of the Ryuko, a deep and dark blue ocean that contains many bounties as well as dangers. In between these two regions is a slightly more natural mix of warm and cold. Sometimes the cold and snow from the north drifts down and powders the ground with white, but the warm and oppressive sun of the southern lands visits just as frequently, quickly melting it away. The Taro would be the main benefiting location from this pleasant mix of warm and cold, but the area has been steeped in fog and mystery and remnant magics from the last war. It is said that the final battle of the war took place in the Taro itself, and most do not dare to venture there for fear of the ghosts, memories, and strange creatures that have been reportedly seen since the cataclysm. The Kanosen is the central ocean that flows around the center of Astaire. The cool waters from the Gyapu and the warm currents of the Ryuko swirl and mix here, creating an unpredictable but flourishing ocean. Sabaku, despite being more southern in its placement, is affected differently than any other continent. The weather continues to be hot like in Hajimari, but there is very little to no rain, and the lands have become a mostly uninhabitable sandy wasteland, dominated by large clouds of moving sand and ever-changing tides of earth that shift and move with the wind. No one knows the reason for this peculiar weather phenomena, but many people suspect that there may be a great magical power that slumbers beneath its dormant mountains, strong enough to affect the weather above. Most of Astaire's mountains are home to various dwarven and gnomish tribes, as well as others who prefer the warmth and protection of Tsuchi. They tend to keep to themselves, although it is thought that many of them are somehow connected to each other via long and dangerous, unmapped underground caves and tunnels. There are 3 major cities underwater which serve as home to most of the civilized Aquarian races. They tend to keep to themselves, but will trade and talk to the surface world frequently, except for the northernmost, which hasn't been heard from in years. The 2 that do communicate maintain favorable relations with as many cities and peoples as possible. The aquatic cities of Astaire are some of the wealthiest in the world, as they charge for safe passage through their waters, which makes them essential to trade. Tobu, the floating city in the sky, is a true sight to behold when it chooses to show itself. Usually covered in mist and clouds, it floats miles above the surface of Astaire, protecting and housing the aerial races of the world. Tobu's society values freedom above all else, and while they are open and pleasant with the rest of Astaire, they choose to remain neutral in most things, preferring to keep out of any potential troubling ordeal which could prove binding or restricting in any way. Depending on its location, sometimes the Tobu can be reached on foot by a long and dangerous journey on the Kokudoro, a long and magical floating path or highway which rises out of Astaire and reaches into the sky. It only appears at certain times and can vanish quickly underneath uneducated travelers' feet, sending them plummeting to their doom. There are many smaller cities and villages in Astaire not on this map, and everyone is welcome, although certain individuals have their own basis for preference. Oops, I totally skipped paragraphs. Let me start again. There are many smaller cities and villages in Astaire not on this map, which consist of mostly other land-dwelling races. For the most part, everyone gets along, and everyone is welcome, although certainly individuals have their own biases and preferences. Moving on to our campaign, the journey's start, we will focus on Hajimari, a small island to the south of Sakoshi. Check this out, Brian. I'm going to do it for you. Boom.
Look at you.
I'm ready. I was ready.
So is that map being shared?
Yeah, it's on Roll20.
Okay, cool.
To the
That's
southern
cool.
end of Hajimari is Sakoshi. The island of Sakoshi is a quiet place. Most of the island's people are self-sufficient, using the island's own lands for crops and grains across the Sakoshi Plains. Its surrounding waters for fish in the Michi Pass, the Sakoshi Mountains for metals and ores, and its small forests for lumber. This small island ecosystem and its relative geographical isolation has over time made the people of Sakoshi a peaceful and neutral group. They seldom concern themselves with the political conflicts of the rest of Astaire and prefer to keep to themselves, living peaceful and quiet lives. The city of Tanjo, on the eastern end of the island, is the only major city on Sakoshi, but most of the plains are covered with farms and clusters of people. To the west are the small Sakoshi mountains and forests. Miners and lumberjacks frequent both areas, searching for precious stones, ores, and lumber. Several tribes of shifter inhabit both the forest and the plains around the Sakoshi Mountains, but mostly keep to themselves, traveling only to the city for trade when needed. There have been occasional reports of small goblin tribes and other lesser creatures dwelling in the forests and mountains, but nothing consistent enough to keep people away. A guard or two usually accompanies these western expeditions, and for the past few decades has been more than enough to ensure their safety. Tanjo, the only major city on the island, is a compact and bustling little place. Despite being a port city, very little goes in or out of Tanjo. The most frequent vessels bring in visitors to the city, hoping for some peace and quiet. The city is a common destination for the inhabitants of the entire island, and is often viewed as a place of warmth, rest, and recovery. Several hundred people make up the residents of the actual city itself, excluding guards, who probably only number between 20 and 30. 2 large gates, one to the north and one to the south, grant entrance to the city, which is arranged in a semicircular fashion around a large and natural bay. And this city, the city of Tanjo, is where our story will begin. Cyrus, you walk out the large and ornate oaken wooden front doors of House Talon, stepping past the familiar yellow banners with blue trim adorned with the crane, the symbol of your house that has represented House Talon for generations. The city of Tanjo greets you as it has many times before. The longhouse stands peaceful before you, several workers already tending to the small gardens that surround it. The bells of the cathedral ring out 3 times to your left, filling your ears with their familiar music, and a few of the town's residents walk past you, either on their way to Priest's Point for worship or heading into town for the many shops that call Tanjo home. From your doorstep, the saltwater smells of the Michi waft over your nose, mixed into the faint smells of the shops just a few blocks from your house, the strongest of which is certainly the tasty baked goods of Hot and Fresh, the bakery. The sounds of the People's Market roll across the pond, echoing in the air, and you can hear even from here many people hawking their wares and the general bustle of the People's Market. You turn to your left, following the road and getting closer to Priest's Point, catching a glimpse of the stained glass dome that makes up much of the roof of the cathedral. You turn left again, walking along the water of the pond and beginning your trek towards the People's Market as you have done hundreds of times before. Can you please make a perception check for me? First roll of the night. Let's go!
Absolutely. I didn't have a dice ready, but
Come on!
I know, right? I got it.
Come on, Brian.
Amateur league.
All right, that's a good roll. Let's start this out. We've got a perception of, it looks like 18.
You see out of the corner of your eye to your right, just along the edge of the water where it meets the small pebble and rocky shore, some sort of figure laying in the rocks, half in and half out of the waters of the pond, the local name for the harbor or bay that separates the two halves of your city.
Right.
Um,
I'm
yeah.
going to go over to that person and check on them.
Great. Umiko, would you please describe what he sees?
So Cyrus will see a Triton girl about 16 years old with seaweed green, really curly hair, about shoulder length, teal skin with some gills around her neck. He will also see kind of dark blue eyes as well. She will have a lavender cloak with the hood up that descends to the ground and a silver tunic underneath, with and the cloak will be clasped by a little pearl in the middle. And he will also see her wearing some brown pants with little lavender booties. She's very fashionable.
DM question.
Yeah.
Nicolette.
Yeah.
What is the difference between boots and booties?
Well, when I think of boots, I think of more like riding boots. So
Ah,
kind of more like knee-high booties are kind of more ankle.
gotcha. Thank you for the clarification. I'm just not well versed in boot terminology. Cyrus, this is what you see.
Okay. You all right? Should I get someone or?
I
Umiko, you have awakened from a dark and deep sleep several times over the past few hours. Not sure if you are dreaming or awake, always tumbling through the darkness. For the first time, you now awaken and see light. You can still feel the sea around you and catch glimpses of a strange and intensely bright light on occasion as you open your eyes, before drifting back into another deep slumber. Eventually, you come to consciousness fully and slowly, hearing the unfamiliar sound of the waves lapping against the shore and the bright sunlight which you have never seen unfiltered by the depths of the ocean beating down upon you, almost blinding your underwater eyes. You hear people shouting and talking around you, and a strange but tasty smell wafts over your nose. You hear a man greet you and you look up and see Cyrus. Would you please describe yourself? And then I'm going to shut up and let you do your thing.
Sure. So Cyrus is a fire genasi, but it's difficult to tell when you first look because he has pretty normal skin, a little bit of a reddish tint, but he does have red-orange hair that is shaved on the sides and is brushed back at the top. He is wearing a blue gambeson, which is buckled on the right side and then has a collar up towards his neck. And then it is sleeveless, and out of the sleeves you do see scale mail. And then he is wearing what looks to be riding gloves, and then he is wearing brown pants and then riding boots, so his are actually up to his knees. He does have some interesting things popped into what seems to be a bandolier across his chest, and he has gold eyes. And if you look closely, you can see these little tattoos of fire that are running up the left side of his neck. Are you okay?
Oh, it's so bright. Where am I?
You're in Tanjo. It's been a. Are you okay? Do you need me to get you anything, or here? And he goes over and helps her up.
Question for you, really quick, Brian.
Yeah.
Are you hot?
No.
To the touch? Okay.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, yeah, I'm pretty hot, but no, I am not hot to the touch.
Okay. And for all those viewers out there, yes, Brian and I are married.
Yes.
So, ha ha ha.
And for all those viewers out here, you know as well as I do, yes, he is hot.
So, yeah.
So, when you touch my skin, you'll kind of feel some moisture from it, and I also have webbed hands, so I'll be kind of like, oh, sure, help me up. I don't know where I am. Pensworth, where are we?
You'll see a small hermit crab crawl out from behind her seaweed-like hair, and one of its claws is pinched onto her earlobe, and you will now realize that Sir Pensworth is probably only with you because of how tightly he held on, and as you notice him there, the pain begins to sink in.
Oh. Okay, and I gently kind of caress him with my little webbed hands and kind of say, "It's okay.
He
You're okay."
slowly lets go and scuttles into your hand.
Where are we? Do you know? I'm talking to the hermit crab.
It sort of blinks at you with its two beady little black eyes poking out.
Are you okay? Should I get some help? I have someone that is well versed in I mean, technically I am too. Anyway, do you need anything? Are you okay?
I think I'm okay, but I was underwater just moments ago.
Well,
and then darkness, and I don't know. I don't know.
Well, now you're not underwater, so there's that. Welcome to Tanjo. This is I've never seen you around here before, so I'm sure this is your first time. What's your name?
My name is Umiko, and this is Sir Pensworth.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Umiko, and Sir Pensworth.
The crab will scuttle to the edge of her finger and extend a little claw and just.
I will put one finger and shake his claw.
It does pinch a little bit. He will pinch onto the tip of your finger, but it doesn't draw blood, and after several small shakes it will let go.
Okay. It's a pleasure. Where are you from, Umiko?
Pensworth, you can go back. And I put him back on my shoulder, and he'll scuttle back into my lavender hood. I'm I am actually from underwater. I'm from Asari, if you've heard of that.
I've heard of Asari, but I've never been myself. It's a little difficult to get here for some of us land dwellers, but I'm yeah, it's a wonderful place, I'm sure.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. You need to go sometime. But I've never been to above the ocean, so I honestly don't know what to do right now. So can you show me around and help me out?
Sure. Are you hungry?
Oh my gosh, please, please.
Yeah, come with me, and I will help her out of the water a little bit farther onto land, and then I will take her to the marketplace.
Great. Are you heading to the People's Market, which is traditionally more of a street market, or to the I mean, there's not really a name for it, but separate from the People's Market, there is a small cluster of actual shops and buildings that would have, like, the bakery and the blacksmith and those buildings.
I'd probably take her to the People's Market. There's a better thoroughfare of food there.
Sure. Umiko, the thing you notice the most as you follow Cyrus through the streets is not the people or the city or the smell, but you notice the smoke billowing up from a large cluster of buildings with blue tiled roofs sweeping up into the sky. Strange flying creatures you would have learned about in your schooling called birds fly overhead. They're mostly white bodies dotted by patches of black and the oranges of their beaks, and this is a sight that you have certainly never seen before.
Wow, this is so cool. I've never seen birds.
Oh, you mean seagulls? Yes.
Oh,
Those rats with wings.
Are they cute? Are they sweet? Can they like pop on your shoulder and do they talk to you?
It is technically possible. However, I don't recommend trying, simply for the fact that they more than likely will try and take all of your food.
Oh. Hensworth, don't forget, seagulls are bad. I whisper in my hood.
Oh, yes, your little crab friend will not get along well with them either, so please keep him safe.
That I can do.
And we're going to take a break from you two.
Sure.
And jump to Flood. You awaken in a familiar bed, but your body aches, as does your head. Oh my god, that rhymes. What did I just do?
Dr. Seuss.
But your body aches, as does your head, pounding from the drinks you consumed the night before. Your head and several spots on your arms are covered in bandages, and a small bowl of food sits on the table next to your bed. It's not hot, but still warm to the touch. You have no idea how you came back to your room at the tavern, but have an idea it was one of the two cook/servers who work here frequently, Sammy or Lindell. Looking out the window, you can tell it is nearing sunset, and the sounds of crowds of people outside remind you that tonight is Tanjo's feast.
All right. Oh. How? Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll take a few bites of food, shove it in my mouth, wipe it off, and then kind of stumble out of my room haphazardly and make my way downstairs.
You descend the angled wooden staircase, taking a 90-degree turn at the plateau, following the railing down to the familiar tavern. Your arrival is announced to the tavern with the creak of every step, and several folks unfamiliar to you sit either at the bar or at tables around the room. Sammy greets you from behind the bar. She smiles at you warmly, saying, "Good morning, sleepyhead. How do you feel?"
Good morning, Sammy. God, keep it down. thanks for last night. I don't know how I would have made it up here without you. And the
That's
food, by
alright.
the way.
You wouldn't have if it was just me. You would have still been in the street.
Yeah, I'm sure. Nothing to do that. But thanks. I kind of just pat her on the head and kind of move her out the way as I make my way to the bar.
Great. You're able to do so. Are you looking for a seat next to someone, or are you trying to find one of the stools alone?
More so alone.
Okay. You make your way to the far end of the bar, grabbing a seat next to the wall with several stools in between it and the first patron. It takes only a couple minutes for Sammy to come bring you some food. And she cheerily asks you, "Did you want a drink with that?" I imagine the answer is yes, knowing you, but I have to ask.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Will it be the usual?
Absolutely.
Perfect. And she disappears into the back, her apron sort of fluttering behind her, leaving you alone and in your thoughts for several moments. Your body still aching in pain from the night before.
Oh my God, what did that old man do? Man. Another fucking day.
What did you say this inn was called?
I did not!
Huzzah!
Bitch!
Okay.
Give me just a second. I have to look at my Roll20 to see the name of the inn.
Just make up a name.
It's on here. It's not. I'm not making anything up because it's all here. So Brian Cyrus would know this inn as one of the two in town, and Richard Flood would also know the inn that you've been staying in. It is called Fill Up.
I love it.
Cool.
And it is on the
Fill?
northern Fill FILL space space UP for those of you who wish to know how it's spelled. It is on the northern end of town on the main road out of the northern gate, just one or two buildings off of the gate. And the other building the other inn is at the southern gate in a similar location. And as this comes up, Brian, I have all the deets on all the buildings. You certainly know almost all of them, so just ask and bear with me as I look them up. Sammy returns several moments later, Flood, with a hot plate of essentially bangers and mash, but mash here seems to be more of a slop than a mash. The sausages, however, are fairly plump and decent sized, and she sets not a mug or a glass, but a pitcher of ale down in front of you as you normally request. And she leans in, extending a hand, whispering, "4 plus. That'll be 7 copper, please."
Yeah, sure. I'll just kind of drop the coins in her hand and just pick up the pitcher and take 3 really long swigs on it. All right. Yeah. And then I'll just start like shoveling food into my mouth.
Fantastic. We're going to take a break from you there and jump over to Keisha or Nama. Waking from your nap, you find your comrade for this journey missing. And after searching the ship to no avail, you wait back down under the deck, hoping for her return. You have been under the deck of the mighty Minnow for about an hour, as the crew instructed for your own safety during the docking procedures of your ship, coming into the city of Tanjo. The lower deck of the ship is filled with the creaks of the water and the hushed whispers of about 50 or so passengers traveling with you. The familiar and unpleasant smells of the ship, its crew, and your fellow passengers is broken once in a while by a small draft of air wafting down the stairs and into your nose, teasing your imagination with the thoughts of freshly baked goods, ripe fruits and vegetables, and horse dung, which can certainly only mean dry land. Several minutes pass, and the boat begins to steady. The familiar voice of Skinny McGee pierces the monotonous sounds of the lower deck as he shouts, "Thank you for traveling with us aboard the mighty Minnow. We thank you for traveling with us. We have arrived at the city of Tanjo. The weather here is..." He peeks up above the ship and back down. "Sunny, with a southeastern wind of about 5 miles an hour, and it is just after midday. Thank you again for traveling with us, and we hope you have a pleasant time here in the city of Tanjo." He rings the bell on the wall 3 times, signaling the end of the ship's request for you to stay below deck and your possible departure into the city. You grab your bag and shuffle along with the other passengers up the stairs and onto the main deck.
Captain, have you seen my friend? I'm not really sure where she went.
Are you speaking to Skinny McGee?
Yeah,
Uh,
Mr. McGee.
Certainly not the captain, but which friend is that you're looking for? What do they look like?
She was quite shorter than me, and she had like a weird mask. Do you know where she went?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, doesn't ring a bell. There's a lot of you, and I mean, for the most part, you all kind of look the same. You're just sardines in the bottom of a ship, so I don't really pay attention to most of the people down here. I mean, some of you certainly stand out, like, you know, you, and maybe a couple others, but no, I haven't.
Okay. Well, thanks, man. It's all right.
I'll tell you what, I'll keep an eye out. If I find them, where should I send them?
To the nearest tavern, I guess? I'm gonna
Perfect.
go with that.
I'll send them to fill her up.
That's the nearest tavern? Why is it called that?
Your guess is as good as mine. Probably because they fill up drinks. But it could
What
be
are these
anything.
drinks
It could
you
be
speak
anything.
of? I'm gonna go find out what these drinks you speak of.
Do you know how to get there?
No, please point me in the direction.
Head north, right before the main gate. It'll be on your right.
All right.
As
Thank
you
you.
walk
Thank
down...
you.
You're welcome. As you walk down the long plank that connects your journey to your destination, you are greeted by a long and busy market street extending before you. Stalls and tents extend from the doorways and windows of homes. Fruits, meats, supplies, trinkets, and almost anything else you could imagine adorns the street, hanging from laundry lines and pouring out from crates that line the streets. Several guards in split blue and white tunics stand at attention next to a tall human man in a blue and yellow tunic adorned with a crane. The guards wear chainmail and steel helmets, each carrying a spear with a short bow on their back and a quiver of several arrows dangling by their side. The taller man greets each person as they exit the ship with a firm handshake and a very loud, "Welcome to Tanjo!" He stands about 6 feet tall, and unlike the guards next to him, he wears no armor or helmet, his long black hair tied up in a topknot, and his face cleanly shaven. He extends a hand towards you, Nama, looking you in the eye and welcoming you to the city of Tanjo by exclaiming, "Welcome to Tanjo!" You step foot into this new city for the first time.
Why are you yelling at me?
And at this point, he's already no longer looking at you, grabbing the person behind you's hand, who is kind of shoving you further into the street.
Rude people.
Welcome
Just
to
rude.
Tanjo, he exclaims to the
Just
person behind you.
rude. I'm gonna head north.
So directly north of you is the People's Market. The main road travels to the left and then curves up into the north. Do you want to go through the market or stay on the main road?
Let's take straight ahead because you
Great.
said north, so I'm gonna go straight north.
You begin heading into the People's Market, and here we're going to continue to switch gears and jump back to Umiko and Cyrus. As you round the pond heading towards the People's Market, you see a ship, not an unusual sight, has just docked. Looks like it's mostly full of passengers, also pretty normal. Goods don't often come in or out of Tanjo, more than likely tourists. The ship, following standard procedures, Cyrus, you would know, will more than likely unload its passengers, gather provisions for the journey back, then take on new passengers and depart shortly after. And you do see the familiar sight of your father, flanked by 2 guards, greeting the passengers as they exit.
I completely disregard what's happening there and continue my focus on Umiko.
Great.
So, okay, so you're from underwater. That's welcome to being above water. What kind of food do you like to eat?
Oh, I love any kind of fish.
Well,
Any kind of fish.
you're in luck because Tanjo has quite the selection. Upside of being an island, we have quite a few fishing boats that like to go out and get plenty of supplies. But up here in the People's Market, there's very good selection. Some of these people, they have they have some of the best skills when it comes to just preparing good fish. And I tell you, if there's this one woman, her name is Salinity. She spends every day taking in fish that her sons get, and she will spend hours tending to preparing this salmon and this tuna that come from the sea. It's wonderful. I guarantee you, you're going to love it.
What was her name? I need to write that down.
Salinity.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow. You sure do know a lot about the people here.
I've lived here my entire life. It's small town, so a little bit of everything going on, but I tend to get involved. Upside of being small.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. I hope that I get to know this area as well as you do, because I think it's so cool up here. And I will go back to just staring at the seagulls above me.
You see something, Umiko, even more exciting than a seagull now. You cast your eyes upon, for the first time ever, a strange and lumbering humanoid creature. Nama, would you please describe yourself?
Alright, I am. Let's see, wait a minute. That's how you know you play way too many characters. Alright, so I stand 7 feet tall. I have black, like my eyes are all solid black. I have like braids that are going straight back, and then they kind of singly drop down into like a braid in the back of my head, and my skin is like a bluish gray color, and my trunk fades into like a blood red color, and I have very short tusks, but they are kind of discolored at the end.
Just for anyone who didn't catch that, you have a trunk and tusks question mark?
I have my trunk from my nose fades from bluish gray into a blood red color. My tusks are very short, and they are discolored at the end.
And what race are you?
I am a loxodon, which is a humanoid elephant.
Dope. So, Umiko, you have certainly never heard of nor seen a person such as this before. For you, Cyrus, this wouldn't be the norm, but it's not unheard of. Yeah, that's what you see. That's more exciting than a seagull.
Pensworth, look at this. I don't know what it is, but it's lumbering and it's coming towards us.
That is a loxodon.
I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you.
I understand, but it's like a person and not a thing, so treat them as such.
A person, okay. Come here, Pensworth. Come look at this. And
Pensworth will, scuttle down your arm, and I imagine you'll kind of hold it out for him to like crawl all the way down and have like a little vantage point, and he settles on the edge of your hand.
And I'll kind of put him up so he's on top of my head now, so I don't have to hold my arm out. Pensworth, just stay there and don't move. I don't know if they eat hermit crabs. Just stay there. Stay there, don't move.
I don't think they do, but you never know. Some people have interesting tastes. Anyway, yes. So
I want to go closer. I want to see what this person's like.
Sure. Let's go.
And I will start skipping my way towards the elephant.
I am.
So Nama, you're heading down through the fish market, not the fish market, the people's market. Just beginning to enter it and sort of push your way through the crowds of people, ducking your head underneath the goods that dangle above you every once in a while, and passing, for you, an exciting amount of fresh vegetables after being on a ship for a couple days. And from behind you, you hear a strange sound and feel a tugging on your robes, and turn around and you see Cyrus and Umiko behind you. Umiko gazing up at you in awe.
I'm gonna look down and be like, yes. Why are you green?
The sea. Why do you have a trunk?
I'm an elephant. I'm a
I've never
loxodon.
seen one. What? I've never even heard of that before. That is so cool.
What are you? I've never seen. Well, are you a trident?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
that's
remind
exactly
me of somebody I once met before. Cool, but they were blue though.
Oh.
Do you guys come
yeah.
from like the same place?
The sea's really big. I'm from Astaire, which is a pretty big city, but I think there's other cities underwater, but I haven't been there.
Cool. They were fishermen. Like that was what they said their job was.
Oh.
They were really nice.
Okay.
They let me live with them for a month or so. It was nice.
Oh.
But I'm Nama. What is your name?
Oh, hi. I'm Umiko, and this is Sir Pensworth, and I point towards my head.
Well, it is pleased to meet you, and I'll use my trunk and tap your little hermit crab on its head. I hope I don't scare you.
I think that he's okay, unless just don't try to eat him. I don't think he'd like that.
I'm an herbivore.
What is that?
I eat vegetables and fruits. I don't eat meat.
Oh, you're healthy.
Gotta stay that way. Gotta keep it all strong.
I like you, Nama. Can we hang out for a while?
Sure. Like, I gotta go pray to the earth, but first I have to find some food first.
As
Oh,
you
yeah.
say that, you notice that you are literally surrounded by vegetables and food.
Oh, if you're looking for a good vegetable selection, Taylor over there actually has quite a good.
Do they have
but
honey grass?
I think he did at one point, but it was just because of a shipment that we had come in from another place. I don't think he has one of those farms growing it, but there's plenty of watermelons and potatoes, and so there's plenty of options there.
Okay. I'll go find something. Really was looking forward to some honey grass. I should have packed some. It wouldn't have made it.
So you know, Cyrus, that honeygrass isn't necessarily a delicacy, if you will, but it doesn't grow on the island, so
Right.
it would only come in on the rare shipments that bring it, which it happens, but it's usually gone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and walk up to Taylor's stall and be like, "Ah, Taylor, how are you today?"
Taylor, a sort of squat dwarf, unusual in appearance because his head and beard are shaved, which leaves him looking kind of like a frog in the face. Greets you familiarly. Oh, Cyrus, my boy, good to see ya.
It's good to see you too, Taylor. How are the crops doing this week?
Well, some are still growing, and some have died, and the dead ones are right here.
Hey, always got to use what you can, right?
Certainly do. What can I get for you? I've got potatoes, watermelon. You know, my specialty.
Oh yes, of course.
I've got carrots. I've got lettuce. I've got rhubarb.
Oh yes, that'd be wonderful. Nama, what would you like?
Let's do. Can I get 3 heads of lettuce and 4 watermelon? Ooh, and can I also have? How do you have like 5 pounds of potatoes?
He sort of eyes you up and down. Yeah, we could do that.
I
So
have to
that's
eat. I've been on this ship and I'm
3
hungry.
heads of lettuce and 5 pounds of potatoes. I feel like I missed something.
Watermelon. 4 watermelon.
4.
4 watermelon.
4 watermelon. 5 pounds of potatoes. 3 heads of lettuce. Give me a minute. He'll run into the back of the house, and you can see him through the window. He's got like an obnoxiously large abacus, and is just very slowly moving large blocks back and forth. And you can see him like the meme with all the math, like muttering and trying to move stuff back and forth. And he comes out several moments later, like probably an uncomfortably long moment later. That'll be about a gold. 5 pounds of potatoes is a lot.
Here, it's
Just
on
1
me.
gold?
Yeah,
I'll,
like
I'll-
a whole gold.
Just 1? Wow.
He'll sort of lean into Cyrus. What does she mean? Just 1?
I don't know, but here, take care of it. I'll slide
Great.
the gold over to him.
And he'll grab several sacks of potatoes and hand them to you one at a time, for a total of 3 sacks containing about 5 pounds of potatoes. He will then grab a 4th sack, fill it with first the watermelon, which is heavier, and second the lettuce on top so it doesn't get bruised, and hand you that bag as well. Cyrus, as always, it's been a pleasure. He'll look up at you. Enjoy your potatoes.
Thank you. Ooh, if you come across any honey grass, can you save some for me?
You know, we haven't had some here in a while, but how much is some?
All of it.
All of it. Okay. I tell you what. Give me a couple copper as insurance, and I'll save whatever I find.
Well, I don't have a copper, but will this suffice? And I hand you a gold piece.
Yep. I guess that'll have to do. He reaches into his pocket and hands you, after jingling around for a couple minutes, he hands you 9 silver pieces.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you as always for your business, Cyrus, and
Of course.
thanks for bringing these exquisite customers to my shop.
It is what we do, my friend. I will see you sometime this week. Oh,
Did you
actually,
need anything for your house?
no, not tonight. With the celebration going on, we've already done all of our shopping. But I hope to see you later on for the party.
Oh, you will. I will not forget this voice.
Good.
Hi, Taylor. Bye.
He, kind of strangely stares at you because he has no idea who you are. Bye!
I just wave my trunk at you and just follow them.
I lead them
You
to
people are
Selenity Stall
very
next.
nice.
You lead them to where? Sorry.
Selenity Stall.
Great. Salinity, as we all know, is she has a stall almost on the totally opposite end of the People's Market, very near towards the end. Like most of the market, her door and windows are open, and her wares, mostly fish, some dried, some fresh, some cured or pickled in different ways, or cut up and prepared, sort of laid out in front on very long and blue, which is kind of the color of Tanjo, like the roofs, fabric that's sort of pulled taut like a tarp out from her window. And they're all sort of laid out on there. I keep wanting to say Selena.
Selenity?
Selenity, that's
Yeah.
the one.
We
Greets you with a gaze as she finishes working with the couple customers she's already talking to. And here's your fish, and here's a thank you so much for coming. I'll see you next week, tomorrow, whenever you want. You're always welcome here. Tons of fish to go around. Please come back. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. And a couple you don't recognize, you might assume came from either this ship or another recent one, slowly shuffles back behind you into the rest of the market with about 3 fish wrapped in paper. She greets you. Ah, Cyrus, welcome back. What can I get for you this evening?
Selenity, it's wonderful to see you. I brought some friends. One of them obviously wanted to try some of your wares. What have you got for us today?
Well, there's fish.
Well, of course, but what did your boys bring in?
Well, we've got red snapper, white snapper, salmon, swordfish, crab, and she looks at Umiko strangely. And some other sea creatures. And she gestures over what you would recognize as octopus and squid.
and I'm holding Pensworth when she said crab, because I know that scares him, and so I'm gonna say, it's okay, Pensworth. I don't think you knew any of these people or any of these crabs. So if you need a hide and it's too much, you can. And so I put my hands down. But I check to see which is the freshest fish?
Yeah, go ahead and make a nature check with Nope, I'm not going to say it. A normal nature check. I don't think.
17.
Great. Are you looking at a particular kind of fish or aquatic animal, or just all of them?
All of them, excluding crab.
You think the octopus is the freshest of everything. The tuna looks a close second.
Cyrus, I think I want to get one octopus.
The whole octopus or just a few tentacles?
She takes out a large cleaver from behind her slender form, like unusually big for her size. Normally we just cut off a tentacle at a time. Are you sure I can't? And she flips it in the air and catches it, slamming it down on the sill of her window. Just cut off a little bit for you? I mean, if you want the whole thing, that's fine too.
Oh, wow. You're really, really talented. I think I'll take... Can I take one tentacle, please?
Of course. That'll be... She hands out her hand. 2 copper, please.
Okay. And I will just hand her a gold and just say, keep the change, because you're really talented.
Oh, wow. Okay, great. And she'll, after receiving the gold and pocketing it with a very quick and accurate snap of her wrist, chop the tentacle off, and with her other hand, grab it before it falls, flip it in the air, and catch it, presenting it to you. Your tentacle.
Oh my gosh, this is so great. Is there a way that you do you have like a fire or something I can cook this over, or because this is raw, right? Or is this cooked?
It's raw.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll just take it from her and just kind of hold it, and it's limp in my hand. Like, what do I do with this?
I certainly have a fire in my house, but I'm not accustomed to letting people just use it for themselves.
Don't worry, there's a few fires out near the center of the market that people usually use for some of the communal cooking. Don't worry.
You would
Okay.
also know, Cyrus, that it wouldn't be unheard of to enter a tavern with your own raw food and ask them to cook it, and you are, at this point, about a block from Filler Up, the Northern Tavern.
Or we could head over to the tavern. There's a cook in there that's actually pretty decent. And Sammy, one of the waitresses, owes me a favor. So
A favor?
yes,
So somebody can make my stew?
Oh yes, of course. Nothing too bad. I helped one of her brothers with some crates the other day. So
Cyrus blushes a little bit at your question.
Cyrus, you're a really nice guy, and I like that. I like nice people.
I try to be. It's kind of important that I am nice. So
It's important that everyone's nice. And so I will skip along with my floppy little tentacle just dangling from my hand.
Are you guys heading that way, Cyrus?
yeah.
Great. Cyrus will lead you almost to the very end of the People's Market, and right before you reach the wall of the city, he'll turn left down a back alley, heading through a pretty narrow for you, Nama, alley that you're able to make it through sideways. Umiko, for you, it's pretty much fine. And after 1, 2, 3 blocks, you end up in a huge city street. Directly to your right, the large open northern gate leading out into the wilderness, and directly to your left, a large sign hangs, painted on it in common, "Filler Up."
Here we are.
Oh, wow. I've never been in an above ground tavern before.
Well, it's definitely an experience. So, shall we?
Do they have like magical drinks in here?
It is
Ones.
possible. One of the bartenders used to dabble in some alchemy, but I don't know if he actually still works there.
And you would know, Cyrus, that Filler Up is owned by where is his name? It's owned by da, 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 a man named Grunk.
Grunk.
But Sammy and Lindell are his two employees who do most of the work you would see at the front of the bar.
Gotcha.
But from the outside, it looks nice. Mostly wooden in construction, the wood unpainted, except for on the corners, some white painted columns rise up supporting the gently sloping blue tiled roof that matches most of the other buildings you've seen so far in the city. And its front doors, saloon like in nature, swing and await your entrance.
We go in.
So, you enter the bar. Just the necessities here: tables and mismatched chairs, a bar, a small performance stage, and about, you would know, Cyrus, 10 rooms upstairs for rent. It has a working kitchen, run and owned by Gronk. He is both the cook, the cleaner, and sometimes a bartender, and is a rather large and unkempt human who tends to deal very poorly with patrons. Sammy and Lindell, two of his two employees, help with the cooking and cleaning, but mostly just deal with the customers, which he severely struggles with. Sammy is a short human with straight brown hair and large, kind eyes. Her cheeks a bit pudgy, her nose pokes out from it in a rounded and adorable fashion. Lindell, a slightly taller human with curly blonde hair and an air of superiority, follows her as she moves. She is also kind, but unlike Sammy, a little bit less of a pushover. And Sammy greets you as you enter, and either side of the doors is attached a bell and a string, and they both ring as you push through, alerting her to your entrance. Welcome, I'll be right with you. And she turns and sees you. Oh, Cyrus, please come in.
Sure thing, Sammy. Good to see you.
And you see about 6 patrons at this point. 3 scattered around tables, 2 sitting together, 1 alone. The other 3 at the bar, again, 2 sitting together, which you recognize as lowlifes of the city, and 1 to the right side of the bar against the wall, whom you do not recognize. Would you please, Flood, describe yourself?
Sure. So when they enter Filler Up, they will see Flood sitting more or less hunched over his plate, eating. His black hair, more or less spiky, but up. He is a shifter, which means that he is part beast. Specifically, he is a wild hunt shifter, so he has very wolf-like features. Kind of like the long, broad nose, kind of down the face. He's got these very long, pointed ears with these very distinct notches cut into them. He's wearing very, I want dingy clothes because I don't want to call them like necessarily dirty, but he's been wearing them and he's been in and out of them for a while. Keeps them as clean as he can, but it's kind of like the only clothes that he has, so they're significantly worn. But for the most part, seems to be doing okay. He's eating and moving around and drinking, but yeah, that would be Flood.
So Flood, you hear, as does Sammy, the doors swinging open behind you, and take a casual glance, seeing Osiris, whom you have probably seen throughout your stay in town, but certainly he may not have noticed you. And behind him, the peculiar sight of Umiko and Nama, both of whom are races you would probably have seldom seen, let alone seen together. And they enter, Cyrus greeting Sammy.
And is Lindell behind the bar?
Usually, either Lindell or Sammy is working at the same separate times, and right now Sammy's really the only one working. You could probably guess that Gronk is in the kitchen, probably doing most of the cooking and staying away from patrons. But Sammy is the one working currently.
Okay, so um, Float will kind of turn in his seat upon hearing someone new opening or coming into in the tavern and look over his shoulder and be kind of shocked and kind of look around for someone to tell, but recognize there's nobody there. Just kind of be like, "Oh, that's new." And I will just kind of casually turn on my chair and hold the pitcher in my hand as if it were just a giant mug, and just look at the door and kind of just check them out and see what they do as they walk in.
Great. So
uh,
you guys enter. You're greeted by Sammy, and you now have an audience of one.
All right. I will give Flood a nod as we go in, and then I'll like lean over towards, looking back towards the kitchen. Gronk! I need you, my friend.
Was that
The
you'll hear,
tentacle!
you'll hear a deep voice from the kitchen, and head pops out with a sort of red, almost beanie-like hat on top, brown hair, short and unkempt on either sides. Is that Cyrus?
How's
Cyrus? Is that
it
you?
going?
What's up, man?
How
Long
are
time
you?
no see. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Do you mind making a couple meals for me?
No, totally fine. Totally fine.
Here.
What do you want?
Umiko, Nama, if you don't mind. Gronk will
Oh,
actually
you
take
mean
care of it.
you mean make a couple meals? I see. No, that's totally fine.
Yes.
You want me to cook that? And he'll gesture to Umiko.
No, not her. Not her. The tentacle, the octopus.
Oh, I get it. I
Yes.
get it. No, that's fine. That's fine.
And if you
And
don't mind, I'll actually take some of those bangers and mash that you tend to make.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, sounds
Oh,
good.
Gronk?
Can
Oh, Gronk?
He'll turn to
So-
you. How do you know my name?
He told me. And I point to Cyrus.
He'll turn and look at Cyrus. Several seconds will pass, and he'll sort of register in his head. Oh, okay. What's-
I heard you are
what's
the
your
best
name?
cook. My name's Umiko, and I heard you're a really good cook, so I want you to cook this tentacle for me.
He'll turn back to Cyrus. You didn't tell her that, did you?
Of course I did.
Oh, well, I'll do my best, and he'll give you a wink.
Well, I think you're gonna do a really good job. And I was also wondering, do you have some little crackers or biscuits? Because I have a little friend, and Sir Pensworth will scuttle on my shoulder with his little beady eyes.
Oh my God, he's so cute, and he will
I
get
know.
like super close to Sir Pinsworth and just like gaze at him for several seconds. Yeah, we can do that.
Sir Pensworth is
can-
just
can you-
going with his eyeballs.
can you make this into a stew, please, sir? Just all of it. Just throw it in the pot, everything.
All I have is a tentacle, so I could certainly make you a tentacle stew.
Oh no, I have two. Here, no
Are you-
meat, just
So separate, you want a stew of this, but then
Mhm.
separately this tentacle.
If you don't
Tentacles
I
mind.
don't
for
want
me.
tentacle.
Okay. No, yeah, I can do that. What? Do you? That's a. Yeah, it's fine. Give it to me now. And
So I'm gonna hand him all of it: the 4 watermelons, the cabbage, or the lettuce, and all the tomatoes. Just throw it all in the pot.
tomatoes. Did you get tomatoes?
Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Oh, okay, cool. I was gonna say I
Tomato,
didn't remember
potatoes.
tomatoes. Okay. So you hand him all the
Potatoes.
things you just bought.
Yes.
Okay. He will take them from you in one arm. He is rather large for a human, definitely still small compared to Nama, but for a human, he's pretty decently sized. He'll grab the bags with one hand from you with the other extends his hand to you, Umiko, for your tentacle.
I gently drop it.
He firmly grasps the floppy tentacle in his left hand and trudges back into the kitchen, disappearing as its swinging double doors close behind him. Sammy's just sort of sitting at the bar, hands together, head on top of them, gazing at the three of you in amusement.
Sammy, it's good to see you. If you don't mind, could you grab me an ale? Would you like anything to drink, ladies?
Oh no! I just drink water or yeah, water's good.
Water.
I heard that they have a magical drink. I don't know what's in it or what it is. It's just a magical drink. The people on the boat were talking about it. A lot of the guys over top.
Well, and your most magical drink, Sammy.
Sammy looks really confused, but will just sort of nod and say, "Yup, come up, yup," and disappear into the back, leaving the three of you standing in front of the three empty stools in between the shifter friend that has been watching you since you entered on your right, and a couple on your left, both of whom are halfling and seem incredibly fascinated with each other's eyes.
I want to look over at Flood because he keeps kind of eyeballing us weirdly. What are you, sir? You just, are you some kind of dog person?
So, just to be clear, that would be an insult as fuck.
Not meaning to insult, but she's never seen.
If your intention is that you've never seen him before and you don't know that's an insult, that's fine. But for anyone who has seen a shifter before, more than likely Cyrus and Flood, that will be rude as fuck.
Flood, you will see Cyrus like physically cringe when she says that.
And I'm just like, what's a dog?
Not me.
I'm sorry, my friend.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've only been around my type of people. I've never seen too many other races. I am so sorry if I hurt your feelings, sir. But you look so cool.
It takes a lot more than that to hurt my feelings, darling. Yeah, why don't
Is
you
that
guys?
a magical drink?
No, it's magical for me. It's why don't you guys have a seat? I've never seen anything like you two before. I'm pretty sure I've seen you around town, though.
I believe I've seen you here in the tavern before. My name is Cyrus.
Cyrus, nice to meet you. I will move my tankard from like the pitcher from one hand to another, and then realize, okay, I should probably put it down, and then extend my hand and shake it.
No.
Shake Cyrus' hand.
reciprocate.
Good to meet you. Finally, I'm pretty sure I've seen you around. But yeah, you two. Just kind of looking back and forth at Umiko and Nama and back. I'm not familiar with your types at all. Yeah.
I'm a Loxodon. We're elephant people.
Loxodon.
Yeah.
Elephants?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's really interesting. Just wow.
Have you ever had honey grass before?
No, I tend to eat
Is
more
this-
meat than anything else.
Honey grass
Keisha,
is really good. It has like this awesome effect.
I want to know your intention here because it's gonna be canon. Is honeygrass like a stimulant / drug, or is it just tasty grass?
The first one.
Okay, that's what I was kind of picking up, but I want to make sure I'm picking up on the right.
Honey
things.
grass.
Honeygrass is now
Yeah.
canon as an illicit substance, and that's great. But on that note, since I have everyone paused and we're finally here together, let's take a break. And we'll come back in a couple minutes. Everyone who's watching will probably magically speed this up to be super quick.
Yep.
So thank you for your patience. And for us, let's take some time, guys.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Ow.
Okay. I'm getting used to this. All right.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Are we live?
We are
And by live, I mean not
Calibration.
live.
live,
or
but not
recording?
live. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Are we on
Am
the
I
internet?
alive? Am I? Who am I? Am I still here? Great.
Motion picture.
I'm purple.
Thank you, everyone who's still listening to this recording, for joining us for the remainder of our session. And thank you, players, for coming back after the first half of my game to see me do more of the same. On that note, to sum up the first hour of gameplay, y'all found each other and you're in a fucking tavern. I think that pretty much covers everything you need to know. So, Flood, to your left on the 3 stools adjacent to you are Nama, Umiko, and Cyrus. And to their left is an adorable halfling couple still gazing into each other's eyes and paying attention to very little else. At about this time, Sammy comes out from the double doors of the kitchen carrying several plates of food, one balanced on each hand and another one balanced essentially on each arm. She sets all 4 plates down in front of the 4 of you, and as you gaze down at the food she's brought, you realize that the plates are in fact empty as she disappears back into the kitchen. Several seconds later pass, and she comes out with 4 bowls, which she places on top of your 4 empty plates, and then she disappears yet again.
I'm gonna just pick mine up and just start slurping on it.
There is nothing in your bowl.
Nothing in my bowl yet?
Not yet.
So I'm slurping on air?
Do you know how long it takes to make a soup?
Yeah. Make them up.
Depends.
Yeah.
Great. More than 5 minutes.
It
So,
depends.
I guess that's true. But for now, you have empty plates with a bowl on top of each. And shortly after that, she will appear with a large ladle/spoon for each of you, but still no soup. And she disappears again into the kitchen, and you can hear the sounds of Gronk working back in the kitchen. And he sort of shouts out every now and then, "Hey, would you bring me one of those? A couple of that. Bring that over here." And lots of clanging and banging and noise. But the 4 of you remain at the bar together.
So, Flood, how long have you been here in Tanjo? I've seen you a couple times.
yeah, I've been here a few weeks now. I'd say maybe a month or so. God, I've lost track of time here, but yeah, somewhere in that area. I'm pretty sure I would have noticed you large. Would you say your name was?
He's looking at you, Nama.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
My name is Nama.
Nama. I definitely would have noticed you, and I've never seen anybody blue before. Green?
Oh yeah, it's
we-
it's like a teal. I'm the blue
Yeah,
green.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So
It's
I'm
really
from
nice.
I'm from underwater, and I'm gonna hold up my little fin so he can see my hands,
Whoa.
and then I'm gonna show him my neck where I have my gills. See?
And yeah, and what? So you're just like so you just kind of swim around down there, or are there cities down there?
Yeah, I'm from a big city called Astaire, actually.
For what?
I lived there.
Lived where?
Pensworth? Come here.
Your tiny hermit crab will scuttle out from your shoulder and onto your hand.
Flood, this is Pensworth, and he is my hermit crab, and he is always with me, okay? We're from
Okay.
Asari.
Okay. You're sorry for what though?
I'm
Oh,
not.
you're
I'm
from
not.
Asari.
I'm
Oh,
from
oh, the
Asari.
name of the city you're from is Asari. I'm sorry. I misunderstood. But that's amazing. I did not know that there were such large cities underwater. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm
need to take you
guessing.
guys.
What? I'm sorry.
I said I need to take you guys sometime, but it'd be
I
kind of hard because I don't think you guys can breathe underwater.
definitely can't.
Nope. Definitely
yeah.
not a thing for me.
Yeah.
I can hold my breath for a little while, but not too long.
Well, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even sure about going. I don't know if I want to go underwater. I'm fine maybe on top of it, but under it's a different story. And let's see here. So you're from underwater, and I've never seen anything like you from around here. So you can't be from anywhere local.
I'm not. I'm from a very, very far place away.
Okay.
But
all right.
my homeland, we are all surrounded by like tall grass a lot, and there's a lot of forest around us, but it's more grass.
Sounds beautiful. Sounds really nice. Just really, really natural. I miss being in the forest, honestly.
You from
Can't wait
forest
to get
around
some of
here?
this honey grass.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm from the other side of Sakoshi.
Yeah.
I'm from the forest over there.
Makes sense. There, I know there's a few shifter tribes that live over there, so a few of them come into town every once in a while, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
At this point, you'll hear a very loud commotion, and hear, just grab right here. No, there. Okay, yeah. Go. You got it. Backwards is you're fine. Go. And you'll see Sammy back out backwards through the door, followed by Gronk, the two of them in between them carrying a large boiling cauldron of what you might guess is stew. And as they get next to you, he'll say, "Okay, now what? 1, 2, 3," and Sammy will attempt to heave it up, and Gronk will do nothing. 4, 5, 6, and go. And again, they will heave it up, and Sammy struggles quite a bit as they place it on top of the chair behind the bar, making the top of the cauldron just higher than the bar itself in front of the three of you. And Gronk will turn to all of you and say, "Your stew!" Looking at Cyrus, "The finest in the land."
Yes, of course.
And then he will disappear back into the kitchen, and you will resume hearing clanking as if he's working on something else.
Nama,
Wait, whose stew is this?
It's yours.
Sammy will turn to you, Nama. I don't know if you know how much stew the ingredients you brought makes, but it's a lot. So we made it all, and if you want it all for you, that's fine. But I suspect there's enough for everyone. So do with it as you will. But this is what we could make. And then she'll turn to Umiko, and yours is still coming.
Okay, don't forget crackers or biscuits or whatever.
Yep, we won't. And she'll quickly run into the back room.
You guys are really putting Gronk to work today, aren't you? Like I'm not sure I've heard this much noise come out of that kitchen.
That's fair.
I've been here.
Well, okay. So Gronk actually, he's been in town for quite some time, and so I've known him since I was a small child, personally. And I would come into the tavern, come in and say hi. I would sometimes wander into his kitchen, but that's just how things went. Anyway, so long time standing, Gronk and I get along well.
And as
would you guys like some?
Sure, I will take a bowl if you don't mind.
It's watermelon, potato, and lettuce soup.
I would
So
love to
good.
give it a try.
Anybody else?
there is a very large ladle handle sticking out of the bowl, which was placed sort of pointing directly to Nama when the cauldron was left.
I'll pour him some into a bowl.
Thank
and
you.
Anybody else want some? Would you like to try it?
There's no meat in that.
No. I don't eat meat.
You don't eat. You are a strange one.
Well, at least in this form, I don't eat meat.
Okay. Also, the stew is very interesting. The potatoes and the lettuce and everything goes well together. The watermelon, it's definitely got an interesting flavor additive there. Something sweet, but a little bit soggy. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, the much like a potato would normally soak up a lot of the flavor of a soup, the watermelon has done so in an incredibly exacerbated fashion. The watermelon is essentially drenched in the flavor of the rest of the soup, which is potato and lettuce. Um,
I think
so
I'm gonna pass.
it is what it is.
Right. Yes, and
But about this time, as Cyrus, you're searching for the words to describe this. I would actually call it lack of flavor. Um, a single plate extends from the double doors of the kitchen, and Sammy places in front of Umiko a dish which has a tentacle wrapped once around the plate, and then it spirals up several times, crispy in nature and holding its form. And as it's curved down, you see they have somehow, with what looks like small toothpicks, attached 3 dainty crackers, just dangling from the tip of the tentacle in a very well presented manner. And almost in a snobby fashion, you see some red sauce sort of lazily drizzled across it. And Sammy presents it to you before quickly disappearing into the kitchen, and you can hear the sound of Gronk ho 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 in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool! Hey, Pensworth, I got you some crackers. And so I'm gonna lay him on the table and let him scurry up, do his thing.
He will scurry to the top and begin nibbling on the crackers. After he consumes a little bit, they won't have enough strength to continue to remain hanging, and all 3 of them will sort of fall onto the plate and chatter into small crumbles, which he scurries back down to continue consuming.
Oh, Pensworth. Classic little crab. And I'm going to start just kind of see if there's a fork and a knife close by. And daintily start eating the tentacle.
There is not.
Oh.
All you have is the spoon that was placed in front of you.
Well. Okay. So I will gently take the spoon, hold out a little piece of the tentacle, and saw it with the spoon.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Thank you. The outer shell of the tentacle is pretty crispy, It almost looks like it's been coated in some sort of crispy stuff, much like maybe panko breadcrumbs in our minds. Uh, and your spoon has a difficult time penetrating the outer shell, but eventually you're able to get it past the crust, and once it hits the tentacle, it pretty much just glides straight through the rest of it, and a little bit of steam escapes in front of
Oh,
you. Compared to the soup, this seems actually pretty well prepared.
oh
Hey.
yes, this is just how I love it. And I'll take a bite of it and eat it up.
And as you guys are doing so, can I get everyone's passive perception, please?
Ooh.
Would be a N.
Boom.
Mine would be a 12.
All right.
12.
I guess mine is.
It should not be a roll. On the left of your D&D Beyond, you'll see your passive skills. I just want to know what the number is next to passive perception.
Ah. All right. Passive 15.
Jesus. So Nama, you notice as all of this food stuff is going on slowly, all of the patrons in the bar, not all at the same time, but over the past, like, I'm going to say 15 to 20 minutes, have got up and left. The halfling couple next to you first, and the rest of the patrons in the bar slowly, one by one, have gotten up and left on their own. And at this point, you now realize the bar is just the four of you.
Wow. Are you guys about to close?
A note here. We'll be open all night. Why do you ask?
It just got really quiet in here, and it's just us.
Yeah, Tanjo's feast will probably start within the hour. More than likely, everybody's heading that way.
Oh, his feast. Ooh. Well, what is that about? Like, is there something happening? Like, is it a festival?
Yes. Yeah. So
And she will look to Cyrus. Do you want to tackle this, or
I'll-
shall I?
I'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Okay, good, because I don't want to, and she will disappear back into the bar.
I got it. Okay. Sounds good, Sammy. So, anyway, the Feast of Tanjo is basically a monthly celebration that we have here in Tanjo. It's to celebrate the founder of the city, Tanjo, who basically founded the city, and it's basically nowadays just a time for everybody to get together and celebrate each other, relax, have a good time. We have it every month because we are, blessed enough to have the bounty to celebrate as much.
Wow, you guys have a party every month?
Awesome.
Well, yes.
This seems like a good time to interrupt you all to talk about the calendar of my world. Days last 20 hours, not 24. Sorry, give me just a second to make sure I don't screw this up. I'm sure at some point someone who is paying attention will catch me screwing this up, but this is the intention here. I just have to find which of these documents I left my calendar in. Shit, I should have done that on break.
You're good.
I think it's this. Nope, not this one. Sorry, guys. You can just edit all this out, right? Okay, here we go. So in Astaire, a year is measured in 100 days. A month is 25 days. There are 4 months in a year. The months are Kaishi, Kaishi, Chukan, Chukan, Senta, Senta, and Shiage, Shiage. Each month has 5 weeks, each of which consists of 5 days. And the days are Sagyo, Hado, Osu, Hokai, and Nakori. You don't have to remember that. I've got it all written down. The important part here is a year is 100 days. A month is 25 days. There are 4 in a year, so time is a little shorter in that way than what we're used to. And their weeks are divided also into fives. So each week has 5 days, and there are 5 weeks in a month. So just some info for you guys there. Some little background stuff for y'all as we move forward. But Brian, aka Cyrus, please continue.
So yes, we have a celebration every month where everybody gets together. All of the vendors have some of their best wares. We do some we have a little bit of fun with these things called fireworks, which essentially are little gunpowder things that will go up and make little explosions in the sky. They're quite beautiful if you do them correctly. A lot of people don't do them correctly, but it is always interesting, to say the least. But it's a good time for everybody to get together and just relax.
Can we go?
Well, of course, everybody's invited in town. I assumed that's why you all got here this evening.
Does anybody want more soup?
I'm good right now, thank you. I actually need to get a few things before the feast starts.
Awesome. I'm gonna stick my trunk inside the pot and just inhale it.
Love it.
Great. The definitely like a very long, unusually long. And then like a breath. As she continues to suck everything out of the pot, leaving probably a few large potatoes and chunks of lettuce at the bottom before finishing it. But the room is yours to do with as you will.
Well, I need to go get a few things before this evening, so I will take my leave for now. It was a pleasure to get to meet you all. Hopefully I get to see you all later during the celebration, but I do have a few things that I need to get done, so I will go. Sammy!
Yeah?
I'm leaving this on the table for you! And I will set a gold on the table.
And she'll poke her head out, seeing it. Just nod at you. Okay, thanks. I'll see you later, Cyrus. Thanks for the business. Will I see you at Tanjo's feast tonight?
Of course! I've got to get Darius out of the house. He didn't get to come last month.
Perfect. I'll probably be a bit late. I gotta close down here, but I'll see you there.
Sounds good.
And she will disappear back into the kitchen.
Yeah. And I will give everybody a little bow and then head out as well.
And that leaves the bar to the 3 of you.
That's a busy little man right there. He's always running around.
He left so quick.
He did. I mean, he is. I don't lie. From what I've seen of him, he does seem to be an incredibly busy dude. He's always running around town, just everywhere.
You would also know from your observations of him, he seems incredibly well liked by pretty much everyone.
Yeah, he's not only is he busy, but he seems really nice. I mean, everybody seems to like him.
He's a great guy.
Which is good. Yeah. Every town needs at least one of those in it. Oh God, here he comes again.
Do you mean a good person?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Is
good,
is
good.
that the effects of the magical drink?
Enough of it, yes. Um, enough of my. And like I said, it's magical for me. It's a completely normal drink. I don't think you should.
And
Yeah.
I don't think I said it, but with your soup, Nama, you would have gotten a mug of ale, and Umiko, you would have received water with it, with your food.
All right, I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna taste it, and then get like super excited over it. Like it's just like a guy, like it's so good, and then just drink it really fast. And like I don't feel it. I don't. Why? What is? How
You're
long
not.
is the effect supposed to
you-
take?
It's not a potion or anything like that. It's just some ale. All right. Don't lose your head. Like,
Is the
cool.
world supposed to be spinning so hard?
Spinning for you already? Well, I guess. I mean, I I don't know what to tell you at this point. I mean, ride it out, kid. You'll be fine though. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
I would love to try this with some of my honey grass.
You keep going on about that honeygrass stuff.
It's so delicious. It's like a dessert where we come from. Desserts are like the sweet treats after you eat a meal, right?
Yeah, everybody knows what desserts are.
Yeah, we don't have desserts. We just have one big meal and just call it a day. But we really consider the honey grass like a major treat.
Well, that's good. Yeah, everybody should have treats. I don't know.
Hey, I want to go to the festival. You want to go to the festival? Let's go to the festival, guys. Let's go.
I thought you would never ask.
I'm so curious. I want to see what happens. They said fireworks. I want to see the sky catch on fire. It's going to be so pretty.
And I want to see what this. Ooh, my cat's back there. Sorry. He never gets on that. That's exciting.
A cat walks behind Umiko from seeming out of the blue.
Oh yes, I was saying. I want to see if Sammy and Cyrus get together.
Ooh, is that what you think? That'd be
Sammy
nice.
pokes her head out from the kitchen.
Oh crap! I forgot she's there.
Me too. And her head like disappears back into the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay. Well, hey Pensworth, are you done?
He will look up at you and say in a voice that only you can hear, "Yeah, yeah."
All right. Come on, buddy. Let's go.
The rest of you will just see what looks like a tiny hermit crab jumping up and down.
all right. Well, one second. Sammy, can I get can I get one of these to go, like a refill?
As
Can I get one
you
too?
mention it, she will pop back out with another large pitcher and place it in front of you. You know the drill, and she will extend a hand to you, waiting for payment.
And I'll drop these 7 copper into her hand.
She will slide 3 of them back out. 7 was for food as well, dear. Just the 4 for the pitcher.
Gotcha. Thank you. And I'll just take the picture and let's go see what this festival's all about.
Did you want one as well? She will gesture towards Nama.
Yes, please. Can I have 2?
Oh God.
Yeah. She will disappear again into the back and come back out with 2 pitchers of ale. That'll be 4 copper apiece, 8 total. And can I trust you to bring me back the pitchers, please? Normally, I don't let people just walk away with those.
I think you can trust me with this. If not, I will pay for the cups.
Great.
And I will hand you. You said 8
A copper.
All right.
Anything for you?
Oh, me? No, I think I'll be okay. I'm fine.
Okay, there will. You guys are new in town, right?
Yeah.
There will be food and drink at the festival, so don't feel like it's now or never. You'll have more chances for more.
Okay.
Good,
Okay.
Do you guys know where you're going?
No.
Are you gonna come with us too?
No, I have to finish cleaning up here, but I will be there, so I will probably see you there a little bit later. But if you leave the inn and take a left, walk down the main road and follow it past the pond, eventually to your right you will certainly hear and see. Everyone will be there to your right. Um, and a large street leading through an alleyway that will take you to Tanjo Park, which is where the festival is held once a month. Just take a left out of here and keep walking until you hear commotion on your right and follow the sound. You can't miss it.
And just as he finishes that, there will be a loud burp that comes out of Flood as he hands the pitcher back and says, "Yeah, I probably won't come back with this." He just kind of puts it down on the bar and then walks out.
Great.
Well, Nama, I want to go, so let's get going. And I'll put Pensworth on my shoulder so he can see around with his little beady eyes.
Great.
I'm gonna stand up. And is she still standing behind the bar?
She's disappeared with the mug that Flood handed to her into the kitchen.
Okay. I'm going to drink one of the cups and sit it down, and then walk out with the second one.
Okay, great.
If I can speak English, it'd be great.
As the sun begins to fall below the city walls around you, the people nearby you in the streets slowly migrate with you towards what you can assume must be Tanjo Park, on the western side of the city. You arrive in the park amidst a crowd of townsfolk. Long tables have been set up on either side of the grassy field that makes up the majority of the park, and delicious-looking food fills them. Roasted boar, smoked fish, seasoned chickens, and basket upon basket of assorted fruits and vegetables waiting to be consumed. Still more tables in the back, almost out of the park itself and spilling into the street, are covered with baked goods, candied tarts, almond croissants, and tiny pies filled with sweet and vibrant fruits, filling the air with their sweet smells and mixing with the meats and treats from the other tables. A small stage has been erected around the statue at the northern end of the park, and the and the drawn curtains suggest a show may start soon. Small groups of actors run to and from the wings of the stage and into the park, covered in elaborate costumes and speaking repeated lines over and over again, frantically trying to make sure they are committed to memory. The people around you split, heading towards different tables for food and staking out areas of the luscious grass underneath your feet to sit together and watch the festivities unfold. Crude wicker chairs begin to litter the open grassy area, creating a weird and eclectic hodgepodge of furniture and chairs littering the long grass. As the townfolk around you begin to settle down, spreading their foods out on the grass in front of you, you catch off in the distance a familiar sight. Cyrus, although standing with someone you don't recognize. Cyrus, are you comfortable describing the person you're with and
Sure.
what you're doing?
So Cyrus, you see, is pushing it's a chair, but there are wheels on the side of it. Obviously, what we would know as a wheelchair.
What?
What's that?
Oh my gosh.
A roller?
But yeah, obviously not common back then. So he is pushing a pretty sickly looking man. Looks like he's in his 20s. He's got long black hair tied back in a ponytail, and you see a few handles on the back of his chair, as well as what looks like a cane that has a crane head at the top of it. As he's pushing Darius around, you can tell that he's obviously making note of who all's here and saying hi to people as he goes through.
That chair is so cool. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, I wonder if that guy's okay.
Yeah, it seems like he might be kind of old and sick, I guess. I don't know if I've ever
Maybe he
seen.
seems like 20.
Yeah, he looks like he's younger, but he definitely does look sick.
Well, I want to go say hi to Cyrus in the sky. So you guys want to come?
Let's go.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, sure.
I will skip on over to them.
Oh, don't worry, we'll be by your stall later. Oh, hi, guys. It's good to see you all.
Cyrus?
Hey.
A very feeble-sounding voice will come from the man in the chair, who does seem younger than than Cyrus, but somehow commands some more respect and authority. Who are these? Sorry, who are these people?
Oh, there's some friends
Friends
I
of-
made yes, this afternoon I made some friends. A few of them by the harbor and one of them in the tavern. This is Umiko, this is Nama, and this is Flood.
Darius will attempt to lift a hand to greet each of you, and as he does so, fail and instead resign himself to a small bow. It's great to meet you. You as well, and also you.
I will respectfully return the bow.
As well.
And
About-
I will. I
Go ahead.
will. Sorry, this cat is just too much. I will say, hi. So, I know that you seem to have a cold or something, and I have some healing powers. So, would you like me to heal you?
I wish it were as simple as that, Umiko. But Darius has something that he's been dealing with for a while. We've done a lot of research to see if we can manage it, but sadly, nothing avail as of yet.
Darius will turn to you, Umiko. Certainly, if you want to try, you're welcome to. But if it works, that's great. But I am a little doubtful. Not that I doubt your abilities, but with how much we've tried, it seems unlikely this is less a cold and more possibly a curse.
Oh. I don't think I have anything for that. But if I ever have something that can help out, I'll let you know, okay?
Don't worry. Just seeing 3 friends of Cyrus makes me feel well enough already.
My lord, there's plenty of friends here in Tanjo, so it's very obvious that no matter where you go, you'll make friends as well.
Thank you. Thank you. And on that note, as the townfolk around you begin to settle down, spreading their foods out on the grass in front of their chairs and taking their seats in the grass alongside the benches lining the western wall of the city, the crowds grow quiet, and a halfling man walks onto the makeshift stage in front of the curtain, made of patched-together curtains of different colors and designs. He stands still in the center of the empty front of the stage for several seconds as the silence grows. And then he speaks in a soft but commanding voice. Good people. Good people. Despite any differences that may separate us from one another, race, sex, class, religion, or any other thing that may divide us from one another, we gather here tonight as we do once every month, as equals to share in the joy and celebration of what has paved the way for our peaceful existence here and now together. Over 1,000 years ago, Lord Tanjo led several thousand brave men and women of all kinds to this very island, to drive back the evil creatures that had taken it as their home. Many lost their lives, but one truth held constant. Lord Tanjo was in the front, and fought for good against all odds. And despite how many or how few comrades stood beside him, after months of fighting, pushing, and driving forward, the island of Sakoshi was freed of the evil and oppressive rule of the Under Creatures. Lord Tanjo then founded this great city as the hub of civilization and peace on this island, and ruled it fairly and justly until his natural and peaceful death some years later. For the duration of his rule, he spent one day a month to both mourn the loss of those he helped take the island, and to celebrate the achievement that their lives had brought, accepting all who desired to come here and enjoy the fruits of their labors. As the years passed after his death, this celebration continued but has slowly shifted. We now celebrate here today the principles that Lord Tanjo upheld and fought for in his life. The driving out of evil from our lands, the acceptance of all who would come here to enjoy our great city, and the peace that was won for all peoples in this city. So, without any further delay, I present to you a short play depicting the liberation of Sakoshi by Lord Tanjo and his men. Let us watch, celebrate, and be merry together as one. And he will take a very large and flamboyant bow and rush off the stage as the curtains are open. The curtains draw back, and several actors are already in their places on the makeshift stage. A rather tall elf surprisingly introduces himself as Lord Tanjo, and after a brief and awkward pause, a small and awkward round of applause fills the park. As the second character, a half-orc dressed in golden pigtails and a dress opens their mouth to speak. A scream echoes out from the alley behind you, and you turn around along with most of the crowd to see an older dwarven woman with a very long gray beard and hair flowing down in braids to the floor, tied in crude knots to her ankles. She stares at the table of pastries in the alley right in front of her, with her finger extended and pointing. You follow the point of her finger to a point on the wall of the building next to the table. I need all of you to make a perception check.
17.
13.
13.
Damn. I
Is
had
it
13 too.
13 plus the 9, or is it just...
It should be a
No.
d20 plus your not passive perception, but your skill perception.
Yeah, I was just saying, like,
I think she's got advantage.
it
Not
was
got
how it was
advantage.
popping up on here. I wasn't sure how to read it.
Gotcha. So, 13, 13, 13, 17? Is that right?
Yes.
All you 13s, you see the woman, you see her pointing, but as you follow her finger, you see nothing but the wall of a building that she's pointing at. Cyrus, you catch sight of a small, almost child-sized arm and hand retracting into a strange void in the building behind the table. The void is framed by the large wooden logs that make up the structure of the building, and the 2-foot by 2-foot gap the arm extends from seems almost entirely filled with a swirling black watery matter. The arm and hand itself is small, seeming about the size of a child's arm and hand, but a strange grayish purple color. The skin is mostly tight around the bones that make up the arm and hand, but is strangely loose in some places, seeming to wrinkle and sag. The fingernails on the hand are black, but not nail polish black. They are black with grime and dirt, long and untrimmed, broken in places and jagged. the hand disappears into the strange watery void in the wall, holding a select few pastries, and the void disappears after it. After several seconds of silence and some laughter, the play before you resumes, and most of the people around you return their gazes to the play about to unfold, leaving the four of you gazing back at the frightened woman and whatever you think you saw.
Darius, I'll be right back. And I will head over to the stall.
I
Where was
will
she
follow.
pointing at?
So alive.
I'm gonna stare for a second and then follow slowly, but still try to figure out what she was staring at.
As the four of you make your way to the dwarven woman, make another perception check. All of you, this time just Cyrus with advantage, please.
I rolled a 15 both times.
9.
18.
I don't want to do either one. God damn it. Sorry. I'll just say 11 because it keeps rolling 2 of them. Because I have advantage. It just says
Or I
advantage
guess
on checks.
16 is the
So,
without-
Nama and Cyrus, the two of you will see something else. Umiko and Flood, your gazes are fixed on the dwarven woman that you're approaching, and you will miss the following sight. The two of you who do see, however, the hand again returns a little further down the alley, shrouded in the same black watery void that it was before. It extends quickly, grabbing a handful of slightly smaller pastries this time, and quickly retracting into the pool of darkness.
Did you see that?
Did. I'll walk up to the vendor that had screamed before. Are you okay? You're not hurt, are you?
No. It's just... You saw that too, right?
Yes, I did. Don't worry.
Very strange.
Not just me. There's a hand coming out of the wall, and the pastries, and back in, and the swirling. Yes?
Yes, I saw it.
Yes.
But
Okay, good. I mean, it's not good, but I'm not crazy. I
You're
mean, I
not
might be
crazy.
crazy, but I'm not crazy about that.
no, don't worry.
Okay,
Here,
good. Okay, good.
as long as you're okay, I will look into it. Don't worry.
I'm fine. I'm gonna... should I get the guard?
No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it.
You sure? It's gonna be...
Just maybe move your pastry stand a little bit farther away from the wall.
And she'll grab her table and just drag it to the other side of the street and sort of stand behind it, just watching the wall.
Okay. I will go to where it came out the second time.
Okay.
Cyrus, what are you doing? I saw nothing. What's going on?
There's something strange that I happened to see. Just come with me if you don't mind.
Okay.
Hopefully it's nothing, but in case it is something, I'd rather be prepared.
Gotcha.
All of you hear a strange and unnatural sounding shriek emanate not from a pool in a wall this time, but from an open window from a house down the street. Can I get one more perception check from all of you?
Another 15.
7.
11. My rolls are knocked.
Okay. Richard?
I'm not sure how to read this because it says I have advantage on like the perception checks, so it rolls 2. But
Do you know why it says that?
I'm guessing it's because I'm a shifter.
I'm about to say mine says the same thing.
Let me view your character sheet.
Yeah.
Perception. It says you have advantage on a lot of things.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering
So
about.
if you click on it,
Mhm.
I'm looking at some of your stuff right now. I'm clicking on it so it opens up on the right of your
While
screen.
shifted.
It
Okay.
says exactly what it's from. So while shifted, you will gain that. So right now,
6.
while you're not shifted, I would take the first of the two, and I'm gonna
That's a
look at
6.
yours as well, Nama, just to make sure I'm on the same page as you. Checks that rely on smell, you have advantage on, and that is not these. So for you also, you will take the first of the two that roll.
Gotcha.
So, starting from the top, everyone's perception checks are
15.
7.
11.
6.
Umiko and Cyrus. Cyrus, you have seen all of the things, but this time, Umiko, you will join in. The other two of you do not see this, but Umiko and Cyrus, you turn to see in the window a young boy's face quickly peer at you, giggle, and vanish into the room. The window slams shut quickly, and the light illuminating it extinguishes shortly after, leaving the window empty and dark. And that is where we will end our first session.
Oh, shucks.
God,
All
we
right.
supposed to
Wow.
cliffhanger like that.
Love it.
Oh.
That's
I
how
didn't
it
get to
be.
redeem myself.
That's
Um,
great.
Awesome.
Everyone watching, thank you so much for enjoying this story with us. I know a
Thank you.
lot of session one was lore and story building and getting everyone together. Hopefully, you will join us next week as we start session one of Brian's game. Brian, do you want to say a quick thing about that?
It is a completely different campaign in a completely different world. So since we will be in a completely different setting, it will technically be just as open as this one as well. So you never know what will happen, but we are excited to be able to bring two different campaigns to you all, basically at the same time.
Totally
Yeah,
different
and
characters, too.
Yeah.
besides being a totally different campaign, Brian and I are also totally different DMs. If you hate my DMing, Brian's might be perfect for you.
If you don't like
Hopefully,
mine, then you'll like
yeah,
his.
you might like mine. Hopefully, you like them both. I
Yeah.
think that's the dream. But we approach things somewhat differently in a lot of ways. But I would encourage all of you watching this recording to jump in for our session one for Brian's game called Built from Ash, which will be next Sunday night. And from there, we will be live streaming every Sunday night. For my players, thank you guys for this first session. And for everyone, we will pick up in 2 weeks with this story and what happens next with the strange child and a creepy fucking hand.
All
Hopefully,
right.
I'll see it next time. All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night,
Have a
guys.
Good night.